Welcome everyone in this new live development video about building an auto battle game. In this video, we're going to start setting up the stat system and adding stats to our units. I just wanted to open up the tech design. Because we're going to need, the stat manager is going to generate stats, and we're going to need to add we're going to need to inject these stats in each unit. And I'm wondering if what kind of stats we already have here: health, damage, attack speed. And we're just going to add mana to that list for now. Go to our list of units, F unit. In here, we're going to have another variable, which is going to be a float. And this is going to be mana. This way. So I've started set up the stats here, the color, the descriptions, the names, and I've done a series of icons. I'll be importing them afterwards. So we have a new value for our units, which is the mana, and they all have 0 by default. So we'll just real quick, we'll give them mana, different values, just so we can keep track of what's going on and read that, and make sure that when we read that value, it's the proper value we are receiving. So how are we going to do that? Actually, it's quite easy. So first off, why do we add? So we're going to need to add the stat manager to the blueprint unit, because we want to be able to, because both units and combat unit need to have access to the stat, because we want to be able to display the stats when we are in our battlegrounds. So that's why we're needing that. We don't need that to be replicated. This is going to be local. We want to edit the stat manager. And we're gonna add one function here called create stat. It's gonna take stat as parameter. And we're gonna have a float, which is going to be the max value of that stat. And we're going to add to that map. We don't want to find, we want to add. And we want to make that stat. There's going to be no modifiers. Can we? Yeah, we can leave that empty. Before we couldn't. So we're fine with this. So we're creating a stat in here, and we're gonna get stats. And for now, we're gonna have this. It's gonna be pure. Instead, we want that, and this is going to be a return value. We're gonna find. We're gonna break, and we want to return the current value, and afterwards we'll be modifying that value. We'll be mitigating that value with the modifiers. So like this. So we have a function to create stats and a function to read them. So units are actually, I'm wondering where extract data from a row. In here, what do we want to do? We want to create stats. Unit data row. Yeah, I think we want to do this. We want to create stats. I'm wondering if we should be cleaning this We'll be pulling that in pulling. Unit state, is that AI or it's both AI? Okay, so not pulling at all. We want that to be in AI. Set team color. We don't want that in utility, I think. Yeah, so this is handling. Find square, it's used at any time. We're gonna put that in utility for now. Extract data from a row initialization. And we're going to put this above. Get unit else is going to be here. Oh, well, actually we can put that in stats. Like create stats. Get capsule is utility, get mesh is utility, and we cannot move this. So what do we want to do here? Stats, nope. Row. And I guess we're gonna call this, I don't know. Oh, this is gonna be in stats. Team and owning player. I'm wondering where we should be putting that. I guess we'll just create something called system for now. Yep, like this. And references. Sorry, I got lost in there. So yeah, a little bit better. And what do we want to do here? We want to grab this. We want to break. So we're creating the stats over and over. So if the unit is used once, it's gonna set the stat because we're gonna call this here. So it's gonna reset the stats whenever we'll be calling this, and that's what we want. So we want to grab this, and we want to be calling the function we just created, in the stat manager, create stat. And what stat do we want to create? We want to create else. We're gonna do it in another way. We're gonna make an array of float, and we're gonna loop through that array of float like this for each of these. So the first float is gonna be else, then mana, then damage and attack speed. Else, mana, damage, attack speed. And just like this, our unit has some kind of else and stuff like that. So we're gonna do something quite funny. Get unit else is actually not gonna return this. We're gonna get the stats here, and we're gonna return the else. And just by doing this, it will work. Everything should work like before. Oh, apparently we broke everything. What's going on? There's certainly something going on here. Like our game state is broken or something like this. We're just gonna restart the project real quick. And And everything should be fine, I think. So apparently not. So I'm guessing the where is the error? What does it say? Access not tried to get game state. Return value 1. This is returning null for some reason. Just like if the game state was not valid. So what is the base game mode? Oh, we don't have any game mode by default. Not sure what happened there. If we hit play. Yeah, apparently we broke something. By cleaning up the units. But all we really did was we basically done nothing. Seems like we just maybe we just lost keep track of the color. Maybe everything else is working, and if that's the case, oh yeah, there is something I forgot to do in the in-game states. Last time we cleaned up. So in here we have a bunch of rep notify variables like server face timer counts. And this variable, this function is supposed to be created automatically out of that variable when we rep notified this. If I put this to none, then put this to rep notify, it's going to create a new function here. And we're going to move that in here and delete the previous one. Current phase is the same player, current battlefield. I think that's current matchmaking. So we're going to put this to none and put this back to rep notify. And we're going to have a new current matchmaking. On rep player current battlefield, we want to get rid of this. Go back to current matchmaking and put that here. I'm doing this because that might have something to do with our issue here. But it doesn't seem to be the case. So we're just pink. So I'm guessing this returns ping because the player state is not valid for some reason here. Print debug. We don't have any print here. Which is quite strange. Maybe we're just not printing current feature. Oh yes, we are. That means we're never calling this. Except if we have the print being printed here. Yeah, I'm wondering if we are really printing this. Print to screen, yeah, we are. Okay, so what's going on here? Why did it stop working properly? in game states. We're just gonna check on combat start when we spawn a unit. We're spawning all units here. Store spawn units. So I guess that's in the BP unit that we want. So that's really not what I wanted to do now. But I guess we broke some logic one way or another. But I'm really not sure how. So when a unit registers, I want to know what team it is. Okay, we're just never. So we have the nickname. What color is it giving us? Yeah, it's giving the same color. Whereas we do have. That's really strange because we printed there. We printed exactly here, and it didn't tell us anything. Okay, so I was just not patient enough. I'm sure it's gonna print. I didn't wait for the units to spawn. Well, okay, I did. So I guess the team color of the player is pink then. And in that case, the issue comes from the in-player state, I would say. I'm gonna open the parent. I'm gonna compile that, hit play again. So my team ID never changes, or does it? How is this not called? That means my team ID is never changing. Or I just forgot to. Why is it not called? This should be called. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure why. I pressed play, but it didn't work. We're too pink. What's going on here? Where is it? Is this set? In game state, so I'm guessing this is not called anymore. I'm guessing this is the only issue here. This is not being called. So yeah. So this is being called the game instance. Okay, we don't have our game instance anymore. So everything broke in here. Map and mods. We want the base game instance class to be our own. So yeah, quite strange. Quite strange, that bug. Everything broke. So we can get rid of our print as well. Rewire this. And get back to our units just to see if I can't really see how much else they have here. I'm guessing that it might bug here. No, because yeah, it doesn't bug because in the combat units we are actually overriding get else, I suppose. Oh, we're not. Okay, okay, I guess we're not. So we've created a bunch of stats for our unit. And we just want to display them real quick. So is this the else bar? Yeah, it's used both in when I over in units or focused unit tooltip. Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to have in here. I want to have a vertical box which we're going to fill with stat entries. We want a new widget folder in our stat folder, and in here we're gonna need a new widget blueprint stat entry. We're going to open that up, delete the canvas panel, add an horizontal box, an image, and a text like this, and we want that to be to the desired size. Or maybe maybe we're gonna put all of this into we don't need the size box, we just need to say that this is gonna be, I don't know, like 300 by 70 by 60. The horizontal box, this is gonna be in the middle, this is gonna be in the middle, not in the middle, but yeah, like this rather. Sorry, up, whoopla, left 20, 10. This is gonna be the stats name, and this is the moment when I need to import the stats icons. So I'm gonna go into art interface icon, gonna put stats, gonna extract that folder and import all of these. I've done all of these using game icons like usual. Bulk edits, we're gonna make this a UI like this. Seems correct. These are the icons for the stats. And we're just gonna use base icon for now. We're gonna use these two. So we're actually going to need an overlay in the stat entry. Oh, I closed stat entry. No, I did not. So we're gonna need an overlay because we're gonna have two images on top of each other. Image stat icon frame and stat icon. This is gonna be the frame. It's not scaling it properly. I want that to be like, yeah, 60 by 60, we don't care. Both of these images are going to be located in the middle of that overlay. And this is gonna be, for instance, magic resists, like 60 by 60. not the cleanest, but hey, it will do the trick, okay? My cat is doing all the bad stuff she can, so I may pay a little attention to her. So that's a little bit disturbing. But I think it's gonna work fine. So okay, like this. We don't want that actually. This is gonna say like 10, so we actually want that to be like this, for instance. So when this is created, what does it do? So this stat entry, what does it needs to know? It needs to have a reference to a stat manager. It needs to have a reference to the target to the watch stats. So what stat it's currently watching. The stat manager is we're gonna give it the reference when it spawns. Same for this watch stats. So when it spawns, what does it do? It's gonna get the stats. It's gonna get the watch stats. And at that stage, we're gonna need that data table. And for that, we're going to need to extract data from that data table. And at that point, I'm unsure how we're gonna do that. And I think we're gonna put this in the game instance. So in our game instance, we're gonna have get stat icon. And at the beginning of the game, do we have a begin play here? No, we don't. So we can never, well, I guess we get an init. Extract data tables we're gonna have. And in here, we're gonna have extract stat data. Get that table row. We want the stats. And we want to loop through all of the names like this. And we want to have a variable, which is going to be stats rows. And it's going to be a map of name and f stats like this. This is going to contain all of the information regarding the stats. So for each stat, f stat, oh yeah, we need to break that. Oh, stat display. So yeah, this is gonna be stat display. My bad. We want to change the variable type. Yeah, it's not gonna like it, but it's gonna be fine like this. So we're calling this at the beginning of the game. Well, not yet, but we are going to extract data tables, extract stat data. We are storing the stat and get stat icon. It's going to return texture 2D, and it's going to take stat as parameter. Like this. We're going to put that in data table right away. Like this. And in here, we just going to do this, which is quite easy. Oh, actually, we can't do this. Oh, yeah, that was quite a mistake here. In here, we want that to be a stats. Our map is going to be a map of stats. So that was my mistake. We want to alt click to remove this. So this is what we want to do. So what is the icon for that stats? The icon is this. So we are storing all these information here. And I just wanted to open up the DT table just so I set up the icon as it's must, just so we can see them. We don't have mana. I forgot mana. Did I? Didn't I forget mana? Yes, I did. It doesn't matter. I'm just gonna put level for now. We don't care. Damage and armor like this. Well, magic resist while we are at it. Attack speed. Cooldown. Oh, I call that duration. Funnily enough, so I'm going to rename that. And move speed, I forgot it as well. I'm just gonna put level. So we can read this information we just feed. We just need to say that in here. We're grabbing the stats and we're gonna promote that to a variable, stats amount. We're gonna set that text. We're gonna truncate that. I think, yeah, we're gonna truncate that. Like this. Everything aligns perfectly now. We can always align everything. Oh, almost. Almost. But they've done a lot of efforts. So we can do this, and we're also going to say that set brush from texture. Get game instance. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna build a little function that does that for us in the utility library. Get game instance ref, and it's going to return our game instance. We might need to store that into a variable afterwards, but for now we can do it this way. We want to cast that into our type of game instance and pass that as parameter for now. So we can be calling our function now, and we can say get stat icon. We want to grab our watch stats like this. And then in the focus tooltip entry, we want to do something quite easy. We want to have a VBox composed of all the stat entries. It's going to be a variable. Event construct. We're grabbing the in-player controller. Set displayed units. Update text. Initialize else bar, and we're going to have generate stat entries. So this is not the proper way to do that for now, but it's going to be fine. So we're going to grab our unit. This is a reference to our unit, and we can get a stat. But I think we want to grab the stat manager. We want to get the list of stats. And what do we want to do here? No. We want to make an array of stats. Literal enum stats. Yeah, that's what we want to do. We want to add a bunch of stats. So that seems strange to build, but that's actually quite easy. We want to tell that enum. We want to tell that what's that we want. We want to create an entry for health, mana, damage, and armor. I think that's what we created when we generated the unit. When we create the stat, health, mana, damage, attack speed, health, mana, damage, attack speed. So for each of these stats, we're gonna read the stat the unit has. And what? And nothing. We don't even need this actually. We just need to pass that as parameter. Generate stat entries. So we want to call this when we set the display unit. When that happens, what do we want to do? We want to actually clear children from there. And then we want to add child to that box. And if we just do this, yep. Here we go, boys. Here we go. We get some kind of stat displayer, and they have different stats. And our icons are pretty ugly, but it doesn't really matter because it's working. We're just gonna change the horizontal alignment of that. We're gonna center it of the widget we just created, the stat entry. We're gonna put this a little bit bigger. Okay, I don't think it's going to like it if we do this. Yeah, I'm not sure it's gonna do the trick, but we never know. Yeah, okay. I think it's gonna. We don't really care at that stage. But we can do. I show you we can do something else quite easily, which you're gonna like before we wrap up that video. Because this is just the beginning. After that, we can do crazy things. Now that our units have stats and that we can access them. So one of the things we can do, which are funny, is this set color of the text, then our icon, set color, then we're gonna open up our game instance, and in here, get stat icon, get stat color, and we're gonna grab this. Get stat color, then in here we can just say something like that. And if you set up your color, it's gonna work right away, I suppose. Yep. So the colors I chose are not that stylish, but who cares? We're not here for stylish. Okay, so I think that wraps up that video. Hope you guys enjoyed it and hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.